what are we doing here? If Icetoad, again, if the people want to come on up and request Icetoad, that would be that would be great. And then yeah, how's we gonna do it? We're gonna, great to see everybody in here. For the first little bit, we will turn it over to the Emperor. We will turn it over to Mr. Icetoad himself. And for the next bit, now's the time. Get ready to come up and request and ask questions for the second half of this too, right? You'll be able to ask questions directly to the Emperor, directly to Icetoad. So make sure that you guys are staying tuned and make sure you're listening to every word that's going on in here, because there's some good stuff. So yeah, if we want to real quick, you guys, they who need no introduction, Icetoad, Johny, how are you guys?
Hey, Squiddy, what's up, man? I'm really sorry about your friend. First of all, I'm deeply sorry, man.
Hey, no, thank you. And we lost the prime, right? He was a holder, so it's sad stuff. I mean, yeah, but this is the town hall again. This is thank you, Icetoad. But the floor is yours if you want to. I know a lot of people are excited to hear from you guys right now, and they hear from me more than enough. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Mr. Icetoad to start off. What's going on, my friend?
I'm good. I mean, Johnny's here, so I want to hear from my brother Johnny. What's up, Johnny?
What's up, guys? Sorry to hear the news as well, Squiddy. Don't want to necessarily start this out on a sour note. I know that it's rough for you, and it's upsetting that he was a prime holder as well on top of everything. So, yeah, he's gonna join the fallen, man, and we'll
honor that.
We'll honor him in combat this week.
I love you guys. Thank you, guys. I love you guys.
So with that being said, guys, hey, it's great to be back and talking with you guys. It's been a while. As you guys may have seen over the last couple weeks, yeah, it's weeks and months. It's been a pretty busy time. For the devs, for the project, for you guys, we've been spitting out new content week after week. You guys have been amazing, jumping into the game, into the experience, and testing, and giving us feedback. And we've been pretty aware that even with all that going on and all the excitement there, there's a lot of other timelines that are coming up and things that we wanted to kind of address. It's the end of the year is approaching, and we had other massive events lined up, like our elemental mint, and even some I don't want to say promises, but hopes that we would be able to offer you guys some ideas on where an updated white paper was coming by end of year. And we've had some challenges for certain to say on a lot of that end. But we're going to get into that. So we're going to cover three main topics. I'm going to go through them with Icetoad and give you guys some information. And then from there, like Squiddy said, we'll get to you guys questions and we'll do our best to kind of answer some questions on these topics or any other topics you guys want to bring up. And those three topics really kind of boil down to the elemental mint and giving you guys an update and some information there as far as when it's going to be and some of the semantics around how it's going to work. Elementals themselves maybe as well and how they fit into the mix. We're going to talk about combat because it's kind of something that you guys have been engaging in and giving us a lot of feedback on, and we want to give you guys perspective on where things are headed there and how we're kind of collecting and using your feedback along with our own requirements and test plan and rollout plan. And then also I want to address kind of the white paper that we were going to attempt to update by end of year, and why we're going to kind of be pushing that out a little bit. Probably not going to be a surprise when I get there in terms of the shifting regulatory landscape and everything that's going on with crypto specifically and tokens, and us just taking a very, very measured approach to how we're going forward with all that. But with all that being said, I'll just jump right into some aspects of the elemental mint. Okay. So as you guys have probably guessed at this point, we've had to push this a few times for a couple different reasons. I think we're going to do one more push here, as it's the end of the year. A lot of things going on. We're very, very focused on the current build and what we have to get done by end of year with combat. So we are going to be pushing the elemental mint out to mid-January. It's going to give us a little bit more breathing room, give you guys a little bit more time to prepare, and we're going to get into some of those details as well. And we'll be able to confirm the exact dates very soon. But I would slot in, second-ish to third-ish week of January is going to be where that's going to land eventually. Okay. Next hot topic, right? How we're prime holders. What do we get? As we said, this is a public free mint. Okay. So I'm going to confirm it right now. We're going to do 1 prime per wallet. Okay. So that's how it's going to go, guys. The object of this mint is to expand the project user base, expand the holder base, bring new people to the garden. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for you guys to earn more primes, and we're going to get into that right now as well. But it says, just so we're clear, okay, it's 1 wallet, 1 prime, 1 whitelist, 1 prime, excuse me, sorry guys, I'm stumbling over myself. 1 elemental per wallet for prime holders, okay? From there, to give you guys an aspect, we're going to have 2 tiers to the whitelist. So you guys are going to get what we call the prime claim. Okay, so that's going to be a window where you guys are going to be able to come in with your wallets, get your prime before basically the rest of the tiers of the whitelist of the mint begin.
Yeah, you guys go first before anyone else.
Yeah, you guys are going to be going first. You're going to get your primes. Everything is going to be good. You're going to come into the allotted time. We're going to provide all of that information. Okay. From there, there's basically going to be 2 tiers, and then the public mint opens. So tier 1 and tier 1 whitelists are going to be 2 elementals per whitelist. This is a guaranteed mint as well. So we're only going to allocate a certain portion of that, of the total supply to that. And then the tier 2 whitelist opens, and the opportunity for tier 2 opens. That's going to be 1 elemental per whitelist given out there. That is oversubscribed to a certain degree, so it's not a guaranteed mint. It's going to be first come, first serve. And then following all of that, the public mint will open. Any additional elementals that are not claimed through those tiers are going to obviously fall down the line into those successive tiers. Okay. As I mentioned, you guys are going to have a lot of opportunities in the coming weeks to earn whitelist tier 1 and tier 2 spots. Okay. Particularly active community members are going to have those opportunities. People like you that engage, that come to the discords, that are very engaged in what we're doing and a big part of the product and where it's going. You guys know who you are. Most of you are here in the audience, with the exception of Blitz, who has obviously some medical issues, and we hope he gets better, as Icetoad said. But yeah, for you guys that are constantly showing up, really into the experience, into the game, helping us develop, you're going to be the ones that get access to those. It's very important for us to have active community members, guys. We have a lot of holders out there that right now, just for whatever reason, are not active. I'm not afraid to say it. Those are not necessarily the people we want to be giving, shitloads of prime elementals to just because they own the primes. We need activity right now. We need to keep up the momentum. We need to keep building. So guess what? You might want to take note of this. Everyone in this town hall chat, Merry fucking Christmas, Happy Holidays. You're getting a tier 1 whitelist spot just for being here, participating in this. So at some point, my guy Slime or Squiddy is going to get up. We're going to send you guys out a link right now, a whitelist tier 1 allow list link. The password is Emperor, all caps. You're going to have to fill out a few things like your email and a few things to get on the list. That link is going to be active for about 30 minutes following the close of this town hall. You're going to have to about 10 a.m. to grab that tier 1 whitelist spot. Again, that's going to grant you, when that opens, 2 elementals each. Okay? So, Merry Christmas, guys. Happy holidays. If you receive...
Ho, ho,
ho, ho, ho. If you receive multiple whitelist spots of the same tier, okay, you need to provide different wallets. So what I mean by that is only one wallet can have a tier 1 whitelist. Okay, so if you happen to win in the following weeks more tier 1 whitelist spots from Captain Chris and any activities in the Discord or the game or any other opportunities we provide, light up another wallet for that so that you make sure you can get your claims in, right? In the following weeks, as we get closer to the mint, we're going to open up a part on the website that allows you to, connect your wallets and see what allocation or what claims are available for them as they've been awarded as you guys jump on these lists. Okay. So we will have trackers up before the mint actually happens, so you guys can get everything all set and ready to go as we get closer.
One little bit of insider info that I want to give Johny, now that everyone that's here knows that they're going to also get a whitelist on the for the elemental mint, is how good they're looking. We've already used the engine that we've talked about in the past that we have developed to create the champions to produce those elemental eternals. And I honestly can't wait to get into the world with pretty much any of the new houses. The Earth, which was one that was a little bit hard because air and fire and water, they're like very easy to pull off, but Earth particularly took us a little bit of work, and it's looking fantastic. I think you guys are going to be so happy when you see the addition that these guys will bring to the world, not only visually but also later down the road when they're able to join the combat as well. I think it's going to be very, very fresh and really refreshing to see these houses into the game.
Yeah, they look amazing, guys. I mean, the primes look badass, of course, and the elementals are going to follow in stride. They're going to be a really amazing addition to the game. I've seen some myself at this point. As we start to roll them off, Icetoad and the gang has shared some with me, and they look fucking incredible. So everyone's gonna want one. I can tell you that. Everyone's gonna want a few. So cool. Yeah, and then we'll come back to give you guys a little bit more info on the elementals. Let me just get through these. Like, I feel like a fucking informational packet right now. I hate this, but I'm doing the best I can to give you guys the information you've been craving. So you've probably asked, like, well, how does he know? How do they know? Okay, well, guess what, guys? We already took a snapshot. We took a snapshot yesterday, so you guys are locked in. If you own a Prime in a wallet, boom, you get a Prime claim, okay? To incentivize any new purchases or capture any new purchases from new wallets, so if you guys bring anybody new to the project, any new players come in, buy a Prime now between now and the mint, tell them to send us a note here in the Discord, tag Captain Chris, tag Squiddy, let us know. We'll make sure that their wallet gets added to the Prime claims, or we'll give a tier 1 whitelist. We'll right side them in some capacity. So if you guys have any friends that come to the project or any new players that come, new owners that want to jump into Primes, from now to the mint, we'll honor that as well. We'll figure a way to right side that and make sure that they get an elemental at the time of the mint. And then finally, on the informational side for the mint is full allocation for each tier. We're finalizing that right now. We have some partnerships that we're trying to build. And I think they're ones that you guys are going to be very excited about as owners and project contributors. And once we have some of that kind of figured out we're going to kind of post the allocations along with the dates and everything else, a little bit more of a social networks friendly, informational on all of the times, dates, everything that I kind of just said verbally to you guys, and we wanted to tell you guys first before we post this stuff out, of course. Once we do get it in a format where it's a little bit more readable and has a little bit more of a nice flow to it, we're going to get that out so you guys can reference it and make sure you follow the directions so that you're in the right place at the right time to get your fair share of elementals.
So something that I sort of want to double down on, and that Johny mentioned at the beginning of this town hall, was that we really want to use the elemental mint and this new generation of champions to expand our user base and bring in more eyes to the project. And Johny himself has actually been leading the charge in creating bridges to other other projects and other collections, and as Johny just mentioned, the way that this whitelist is being allocated has had a lot of thought behind it, and it's really exciting, at least for us to see, where this is headed, and which doors are we knocking on, and which bridges we're building with like-minded projects or organizations, and we are using the elemental mint as part of that strategy. So it's really important for you guys to know that this is, once the project allocations are out, this has had a lot of thought behind it, and we've been trying to reinforce a little bit of our reach via this elemental mint.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of details that we've put out that really separate and define what a prime eternal is versus an elemental eternal. If I was to zero in, and we put out even a very straightforward as possible way that we're looking at it, but I'll try to zero in on it a little bit more. So for you as prime holders, those prime holders here, again, want to kind of make it very clear to you guys that apex of the economy and most of the partnership earning potential, okay, and most of the exclusivity, almost all of where the general population or other holders, either whether they be of the elementals or just general population, people that come into the game as we start to scale it down the road, as those people come into the game, they're simply not going to have access to or be able to produce certain components of the economy in the game like primes will. So, if you want to go like, well, why should I get a prime now, or why should I hold on to my primes versus just getting an elemental? Well, because primes are going to grant certain access and certain commodity and certain things that elementals are just not. But at the same time, I don't want to slouch. Elemental Eternals are eternal. They're our eternal class. They are critical to the game experience. They balance the power wheel. They have a lot of benefits that come along with them as well, and we've kind of talked about some of those. Some of those are very forward-looking in terms of the game expanding its content offering and how elementals may factor into that versus the primes. But ultimately, these two types of characters, the primes and the elementals, are the precursor for us getting to something that we've been wanting to get to for quite a while, which is breeding. And breeding is where the primes and the elementals are going to be able to be combined for you guys to create kind of new Frankenstein creations, right? And introduce champions into the ecosystem that have, maybe some of the benefits and maybe some of the downsides and maybe some of the middle ground of both types of champions. So for those of you that are interested in that part of the meta and how to expand the offering and how to build kind of, content, if you will, in the game, that's going to be one of the first kind of aspects of how that comes to life. So if you're a prime holder, you're going to want elementals. if you're an elemental holder, you're probably going to want a prime right now, or you're just going to want to make some friends with some primes because they're going to provide a certain level of access, or have an opportunity down the road to provide a certain level of access to mix with them and create, new content, new NFTs, new champions, right? From the semantic side, that's kind of what I'm going to say about the elementals and the elemental mint. Again, we're going to have more information for you guys as we go. And as I said, everybody in this Discord is going to get a tier 1. Everyone in this town hall is going to get a tier 1 whitelist spot, which grants you 2 additional elementals during that mint. So again, guys, happy holidays. That's our gift to you. We wanted to give you guys something extra just for being here and continue to reinforce that engagement and activity. Means a lot to us with where we're at with the project right now. Okay. Icetoad, I don't know if you want to add anything else to the elementals, but feel free, brother.
Yeah, I think you already mentioned it, but I also want to make sure that this also goes through, and it's the fact that there will be more opportunities for Prime Eternal holders to gain whitelist spots from here until the mint. So just by participating, by engaging with the community, by doing all the awesome stuff that you guys constantly do, just be aware that this snapshot and this Christmas present that we're giving you guys today is not the last chance to get into the whitelist. So for anyone that's not on this town hall, there will be other chances, and our community team will be pushing that, and we'll be handling that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a lot more opportunities to jump in and get more as we go, guys. Cool. So let's move on to combat, which you guys, a lot of you are already actively engaging in. Obviously we're in an alpha phase. I think we've continued to reiterate this time and time again. We as the team have lots of continuous tuning planned really on 2 fronts. The first being kind of the base core combat, right? So that's the ebb and flow of combat. That's the basic utilities. That's like, how light attacks affect, the defending player or the hit player, how heavy attacks, how dodges work, all the part attacks, all the basics of the core combat system. And then at the same time, we're looking at expanding the content offering, particularly on the character side. And we'll get into that a little bit, right? So we have a roster that's expanding, new characters shortly, and we'll talk about the next at least 3 characters that are coming up, or champion types that are coming up, so you guys can start to get excited about that. But again, I want to reiterate, you guys are all alpha testers, right? So this is a new experience. We've never necessarily done this.
Pre-alpha testers. Pre-alpha, which is even a cruder version usually of development, which is usually very inside baseball, right? Like things are like usually super broken, and balance is like being done every single day. So it's I mean, we're delivering a pre-alpha experience that I'd say it's very playable, but usually it's not at that level.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is, again, I've been making games 20 years. Like, this is unprecedented for me. I've never actively tested a game in this condition with basically the audience that is eventually going to be looking forward to it, right? Like, a lot of people would say this is crazy, but again, I want you guys to remember that's the reality. I mean, that's where we're at. You guys are testing a pre-alpha. Shit is broken. It breaks week to week because we're actively making changes and pushing changes. We're trying to really develop in front of you guys. So, again, we see a lot of comments like, hey, you guys listening to us? Yeah, we're listening to you guys. I mean, everything that you guys say is captured in some capacity. We look at it. We compare it to notes. We look at the, literally thousands of pages of design documentation and different balancing sheets that we have that we're prepared to already be testing. And we find a way, if it's good feedback and things that make sense, to work it in, right? We have a lot of shit to accomplish, guys. This is very early on. But I think we can all agree that there's certain elements, there's some spark to the game that makes it fun right now. Again, I can tell you, just as a game developer, that's the hardest thing to create. I that's what a lot of people, a lot of game teams just struggle with for a long time, is creating that initial spark of fun, particularly for a skill-based game where it's like very active-based. It's a multiplayer game. It's very touch and go. And there's going to be things that we do and test that break that experience from week to week. We're trying different things. Again, this is all part of the process. And I think something that we'd love to hear back from you guys is, hey, do you guys do you guys appreciate that and like that? Do you want us to slow down those releases and have us be a little bit more curated? Is it something that you want us to kind of like, hey, like don't just feed us whatever the build is this week, pull back and we'd rather see more polished stuff. It's really up to you guys, I think, to let us know that. That's something that's been on the tip of my tongue that I've wanted to ask you guys. For us, I can tell you this. It's valuable feedback for us to have you guys in there every week testing, because we're constantly getting new data. We're constantly getting new touch points. We're getting new insights from you guys every week also. And we're able to test with you guys in a live environment also, which is, again, this is unprecedented balance changes that we push or different kind of alterations to the core combat system itself.
Yeah, so we get crazy ideas sometimes, and I love testing them with more people, not just the internal team or even like the QA team, which is of course much larger. But I love the fact that we get to listen to you and play against you guys, and even get wrecked sometimes by you guys every single week, because it really informs a lot of the stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here's a little bit of alpha. I think we dropped a little bit of this, but we'll try to fill in a little bit of the blanks on it. So obviously it's we've been out a little while now in a live space. We've had the first 9 kind of player-owned champions. We're going to be swapping those out this week. That's a very exciting moment. I think it's going to be a great refresh for the experience as a whole. It's going to let you guys see what different part combinations really bring to the table. Some of the strategies that were in place already just with those 9, we're starting to get very overused by the general population in terms of how you guys approach the combat. And I think the refresh is going to, mix that up a little bit, right? And it's going to require some people that are getting very comfortable with their play style to see how maybe that exact same champion family type plays with different part schema on them against different opponents of different parts as well. So that refresh is coming this week. Along with, something that we've noticed, and this is true for all multiplayer games, particularly 1v1s. And again, this game is going to scale past 1v1. Right now, we're trying to establish that core, very intimate, very 1v1 experience, because that's where the fun begins and ultimately ends. We do have plans to scale past 1v1, in the future, and make this a full arena battler, which is going to be fucking nuts once we accomplish that. But we've noticed in 1v1, right? There is already a pretty significant skill gap in the testing base we have out there in the owner base. And that's okay. That's the reality. There's some dudes that are just fucking awesome at video games and kicking the shit out of somebody else. And then there's other people that, it takes a little bit of time for them to ramp up, and they have the capacity. We kind of just threw all you into the deep end together, and we let that sort itself out for now. I think that gave us a lot of great data and insights that we needed to, and we of course have ideas for how we're going to onboard the general population. But even right now with this player crop, we want to get to a place where you guys have a little bit more of an even kill experience and can enjoy yourselves. So we're going to kind of introduce what we call the new player training grounds, potentially coming as early as this week as well, or next week. Icetoad, you can confirm.
So I think I mentioned this on Blitz's stream when I actually took a match from him. That we I also get well, Blitz. We've been secretly we had developed an MMR system. So for you guys that you don't know MMR, it means matchmaking rating. So it's like an ELO system, similar to the ELO system that they use in chess or in other games, or in other particularly 1v1 competitions, or other even MOBAs, other video games where you have a number that pretty much it tries to be a representation of your skill level. And we had developed an MMR system, and it's been running for a few weeks already. So we actually know who the good players are and who the potentially good players will be. And we had not used that MMR system yet to filter the matches, just because we wanted it. We wanted to train it a little bit more on one hand, and on the other hand, there's also some like UI implementations that we wanted to do to sort of honor that system that we had been implementing. But starting this week, we are going to turn on the MMR system, which means that we will initially try to give you a match that this system considers fair. So we'll try to match you with someone that is of similar skill as yours initially. Before we were just doing something called FIFO, which is first in, first out, so pretty much first come, first served. And which is not the case starting this week. We'll try to give you someone closer to your skill level. There is of course those systems usually thrive on having a lot of players into the pool. Right now we're all limited to the PE and friends. Hopefully more friends will join this week, but to the PE and friends number of players that we have, and so that's still sort of like a limited number when it comes to what we want to do with matchmaking. But we will still turn it on, and what will happen is that the bracket search will expand very quickly, up to 2 minutes right now, where at 2 minutes we will just be searching pretty much back in the old way where it's like first in, first out. So after 2 minutes of searching a match, we will no longer honor the matchmaking system. This is to prevent people that are higher up in the rankings to spend, minutes upon minutes or hours upon hours looking for a match. So we are literally expanding very fast this search. But it will hopefully allow for a little bit of more standardized experiences and matching people with the right skill level. We will also be using that system to calibrate new players, and we will let new players know that they're being calibrated on their first few matches, so that they don't feel like, oh my god, I just, what's going on here? Like, well, why did I just get pounded on? We'll inform players that they're just being calibrated, and after a few matches of calibration, they'll just be able to hopefully find more appropriate matches for them. So that's something that we're turning on tomorrow. That's literally going on tomorrow, and then we're already building on a system for the future, which is more geared towards the new player experience, where we will have a friendlier, let's just say a friendlier calibration method for players, where it will be a little less random, let's say, so that they're not necessarily matched with people that are a lot more powerful during calibration. I'll give you guys more details in the next few weeks. But that is like phase 2 of this new system. So hopefully this will help us all find matches that are a little bit more appropriate for a skill level. And again, as you win matches in your skill level, you will of course climb in the MMR system, and will get harder and harder matches until you're sort of like in this sweet spot where you find your actual skill. And that's of course the challenge, improving your skill so that your sweet spot is higher and higher. And this, as you guys might be thinking already, will eventually connect with a tier system, like in many games where you have bronze and gold and platinum and diamond and all the cool different tiers of competition that will help you also visualize a lot easier where you stand. So a lot of stuff being built also on the back-end side of things that is not necessarily tied to the moment combat, but it's also very exciting because it does really improve the overall gameplay experience.
Yeah, so, in layman's terms, guys, for those of you who may have, started to steer yourself away from combat because you may be finding it a little too challenging to get worked by some of the really excellent players that we've already had kind of develop out there. As these features roll out over the next couple weeks, we humbly invite you back into the experience so that you can kind of really see what it's like to be matched up against, people of a similar skill level as you, so that you can really get a feel for how fun the combat is. Because we understand that skill gap can create, matchups that really aren't fun to engage with if you happen to be on the wrong end of the ass beating. We want very engaging fights, and there's always going to be ass beatings. This is a multiplayer game, right? That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it competitive. I think right now there definitely has been some dominant players that have risen up. Again, this is true with all games in this style of or genre. But these new features and new systems should help to kind of make the experience a little bit more enjoyable for all of you. And again, that is great for us as a project because we get more data at different levels. So again, we invite you guys to come back and participate. And then finally, Oscar Hobbs, close your ears on this one. I know you don't necessarily want this kind of stuff going out, but we're going to let it out. We have 3 new families coming very shortly. I don't know if Icetoad wants to kind of confirm when they might be rounding the bend, but I can go ahead and let you know who they are, and then he can tell you anything else. But we're very excited because these guys that we have coming up are actually really going to change some of the meta that's been developing. For right now, we're looking at getting the Ilgra, the Fenrir, and the Keymaster out there, and we're very excited about that. Because the Ilgra is one of those big, gigantic tank characters. The Fenrir is going to be a very fast, very feral, kind of warrior. And then of course the Keymaster is going to be much more of the even keel of those 3. So, and again, this is subject to change, but those are the 3 that I believe are going to come up next. They're going to change the meta a little bit around how different matchups kind of seize up and take root. So, Icetoad, if you want to give any more details on that,
you're leaving me the fun part. Yeah, you're leaving me the fun part. Okay, so as Johny mentioned, we're still working and figuring out a lot of the moment to moment of the combat. As we said, we hear your feedback, and it a lot of times aligns with what we are thinking and doing. I think even though we really work blazingly fast, it might sometimes feel like some of the feedback is not heard or maybe not prioritized enough. But we hear you, and so this means that there's still a lot of work on our end to get to the point where we're I would say comfortable enough to be able to expand easily on the other families. So we've sort of reprioritized a little bit on looking at the current existing families, and to give you guys an example, like we know we are aware that, for example, Tail in its current utility, which is knockdown, some of the part abilities, some of the tail abilities are not playing as good as we wanted with that mechanic, with the knockdown mechanic. So we're making shifts to the existing tails so that they play a little bit better with the current knockdown mechanic, and so those things are taking priority right now over expanding the current character roster or family roster. That said, we're currently working on a lot of stuff that has to do with expanding the character roster, like animations, etc. That is not held up by some of the development stuff that we're doing on the current 3 families. But our initial goal was to have this new generation, these new 3 families, the Ilgra, the Fenrir, and the Keymaster, by the end of the year. But that's probably not going to be the case, and we're going to be looking at. We'll be trying to aim for something around late January, perhaps, or early February for the new generation.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, it's going to be exciting. Bringing those crop of champions into the mix. as Icetoad said, we got a lot on the core systems that we need to continue to refine and finalize, but it's always fun to have new content to play with, particularly in a game like this. So, yeah, and then look, I wanna open to questions. We were gonna get to the white paper stuff. I'll just say this. I'll make these 3 very brief statements on that. And then we can open up to questions to give you guys the opportunity to ask us some stuff. So the white paper, we had planned on getting an update out at the end of this year. Unfortunately, we've had, internally some things that we have to manage a little bit better to get there. But also, and really this is the main issues, I'm sure you guys are aware of this, there's a pretty significant shifting regulatory landscape out there right now. There's a lot of weird shit going on here in terms of the space. There's dirty words out there like FTX crashing and all these other things, and that has reverberations throughout how relevant businesses like ours really approach kind of some of the ways that tokenomics is going to work and things of that nature. So this is what I can say is rest assured, guys, we've put a lot of time and money into this. We've lit up many conversations over the last year. We've spared no expense. And these are the 3 main things that come out of it. Nothing has necessarily changed with how we're approaching and looking at, again, prime ownership and how you guys will be able to participate with us in earning potential. I'd like to say that, something that seems to be becoming a little bit more prevalent in the space and a little bit more safe is what we would call a partner-driven economy, which you guys are somewhat participating and engaging in right now as a test experiment. So you guys know what our memorabilia boxes are. We basically have this ticket system. You guys earn the tickets. You go in, you can mint a box, and then of course you guys then have utility. And by the way, all of those items coming out of those boxes are going to have utility. We haven't announced all of it yet. For each one of those items, we've revealed some of them, of course, but they all have utility. That is what we would call a play to mint style economy. So that is a feature of the economy as a whole that we want to kind of incorporate down the road. It's also the type of economy that seems the most friendly to free-to-play players. So as we start to get to a place where we feel it's going to be critical to scale the game past our owners, right, and open the game up to free-to-play players or a wider audience, that is an economy feature and design system that allows a very soft onboard for players to engage with. It's something that we've had a lot of success with already in you guys testing. I think it's a very fun experience. It's something that we can expand, apply, and contract. And it's also something that you guys can participate in from the financial gain side at some point as you will be owning a lot of those assets, right? For those of you that engaged in the pet burning exercise, you engaged in a burn to mint exercise, which is another vital component of how we see the economy moving forward. We've mentioned many times that you guys as owners right now and future owners of elemental champions, those guys are going to be eternal. They cannot die. But for the wheels of the economy to be greased and turning, once we get to your bred champions and the champions that are below the eternal tier, those guys can die in combat, right? And those corpses will be able to be harvested for progression and currencies that lead to different NFTs in the ecosystem, whether those be gear and weapons or weapon components and other advantages or consumables that give players a leg up in gameplay and the rest of the experience. So there's more to say on that for sure. There's more to say on this larger topic. I think we are going to be continuing to put a lot of effort into developing the white paper and getting there, early next year. We're on track right now to get to a place by the end of the first quarter where I believe we have a lot of the features ready that we wanted to have ready, and we'll update you guys accordingly as those timelines shift. But yeah, with all that being said, I want to open up to questions, guys, and give you guys an opportunity the last 15 minutes to talk to us. Go ahead, Squiddy.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. A lot of great stuff here. Yeah, raise your hands. Come on up. And now's the chance to address the Emperor, right? We got him right here. We got Icetoad right here. So any questions, again, now's the time, right? Come on up and ask him directly. We're going to bring you guys up probably one or two at a time, and then ask away. First up, we got a Raid token who's been waiting patiently. What's up, Raid? How are you, my friend? The floor is yours.
Hey, how are you? Well, guys, I was thinking about questions about the economy because I think you're doing so great because introducing a token right now maybe can hurt the basic economy of the game. I think farming NFTs, if you give some utility to them, it will be great for the game, and it will be similar to the games that are not involved with crypto. The other thing is the people who have right now their Prime Eternals, you need to think that this is a Jam City game, and maybe there is a light version coming for mobiles or something next year, and that could be great, you know. So the thing is that I'm scared thinking about token for the game. What do you guys know about that?
Yeah, so thanks for the question, man. Like, yeah, look, I can officially tell you my brain is like literally burnt on fire. So, you know, as head of the project, you know, fun parts of my life revolve around combat and gameplay and creative and, you know, all the fun stuff. The other vital part of, you know, what I engage in is economy design and how the game is going to expand as a product. You know, so one of the things I said briefly, but it's a very important note is, and you can see this across the Web3 gaming space, right? And I've even seen this mentioned in the community many times, which is, yeah, you know, for a game like this to work, you have to be able to scale this game very, very large. Clearly, we are not attempting to do that right now, guys. We are not marketing, like, again, the game's in pre-alpha. You know, it's not ready for 1 million players. It's ready for you guys right now to continue to partake in the activities we have now and help us develop the game collectively, help us get a real gauge for how we can create those earning opportunities for our users and owners specifically, and scaling that game is going to require us to be on multiple platforms. Okay. You know, mobile included. So there are plans, not just for mobile. We've had discussions. I can easily say this. We've had discussions with large platform partners already. You know, things that have put a controller in your hand for companies that put controllers in your hands for years. You know, we want to get this game in front of as many people as possible when it is ready. And yes, that is how you guys are going to be able to earn. It's like, as the more and more players come in, demand goes up for the things that you guys will possess, certain things that only you guys will have access to possessing. And then you guys will eventually be the choke points in many cases to get, for those players, those massive players, to get their hands on those items, right? And they will go through your guys, if you want to call them token gates, if you will. And in terms of the token itself, I think, look, we're still very interested in tokens. We have had a lot of discussions around this. We have spoke with many highly very knowledgeable partners on how to develop token. We have token plans. We have a lot of different things. At the same time, yeah, nothing is finalized right now because of what's going on. There are a lot of very, very strange kind of conditions out there, and we don't want to put you guys or ourselves at any kind of position where we have to redact or pay back or deal with any kind of bullshit that comes along with us putting out something that may be considered an illegal security. And we've steered clear of that up until now. I think we have great plans on how we scale the game once we get there. And right now, that's something that we continue to prioritize on a daily basis, guys. We just aren't going to do anything that jeopardizes you or us.
Thanks, man.
Welcome.
Thanks, Raid, and looking forward to the upcoming champion streams. Always fun to see you streaming.
Yes, Yeah, yesterday I received like my recap from Twitch, and I'm on the top 1% of the world on Twitch crypto category. So I'm so happy. I'm celebrating that.
Congrats, my friend. It's great to see you.
Congratulations, dude.
Attempting to battle. You'll get good eventually, Ray. You'll get good eventually. No, I'm just kidding. Ray is the best.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Guys,
coming up, my friend. Mr. Sphinx.
Before,
everybody.
sorry, guys. Before we move on, I just wanted to add something to Johnny's answer, very very briefly, which is that he's talking about the private channel owners as being part of the choke point of some of the activities that are happening that will happen in the game. That is really important, and that is actually part of the differentiation that the team is taking into account between all the different tiers of champions. There will definitely be differentiation between what private Eternals can do versus what elemental Eternals can do versus what regular Eternals can do versus whatever challengers and all the different tiers in the economy are able to do. We're actually very careful and very mindful of making sure that those tiers are respected and differentiated.
Yeah, and we'll release more information on what we're kind of calling the partner economy in the coming months, as well as we do get that white paper updated. I think it'll be something that you guys find really really exciting and interesting, and will actually create a less of a barrier to entry for the general player base to engage with your content, with your commodities, with your valuables, if you will.
Awesome. So much. Again, great to see all these faces out here too. All these friends, new and old, in the crowd. We've got an awesome crowd in the house here. It's really fun to see the packed room. Z-Mackin, what's up, my friend? Welcome. I present you to the Emperor.
Love to get the Z-Mackin, but was Sphinx up first, or?
Yeah, Sphinx was here first.
Sphinx
There's a bunch of guys on stage.
Sphinx didn't go. I'm sorry, Sphinx.
It's all good. I'm here. Yeah, just actually had three questions. One's probably pretty easy. And when are we going to see the Emperor's Challenge Part 2? That was an awesome little thing we did.
I'll take the easy question. Well, I'll let Johny take the hard ones. We're definitely thinking of ways to expand, and not just the Emperor's Challenge, but some of the activities that you guys are doing in game. So be on the lookout for that. We're definitely thinking about ways to create more engagement.
Awesome. My second question, maybe a little bit harder, was how was the increase last week of the daily active users with the Smurfs walking around and all the new players and stuff? Did we actually see like a decent percentage we can talk about?
Yeah, I think it was very, very controlled. I think we had Icetoad. What was the numbers? I think we had 75 to 100 new players jump in.
Yeah,
almost 80.
Yeah,
wonderful.
So again,
okay. And last one might be the harder question. Are you guys doing any leveling or tracking for the players right now? Do they have like hours, wins, amount of tickets? And the reason I'm asking is because I'd like to maybe get some of those metrics, because we're trying to do a leveling up system with some of the releases and some of the events we're going to do here coming up with some of the groups I'm working with. And I really wanted to know if we can kind of tier these players who have been committed and putting lots of time into it and stuff, and some of the new people who are coming in and putting their time in it, if we could maybe find some sort of way of tracking that level.
We're tracking a lot of stuff. I think most of the stuff that you mentioned we're tracking, or we can probably deduce from the tracking that we're doing on the both on the database and like on the analytics. We have a lot of data. We're still actually building some of the views of the data. That is something that is being led with Logic and like our economy team. Yeah,
That's actually what I was looking to hear.
Yeah, for sure. Let's connect and hear what kind of information you guys would like and see how we can help.
Fantastic. Thank you.
See,
What's up, guys? Thanks for coming to this town hall with us. I know I myself and probably all of the community appreciate you guys coming out and talking to us. We love it when you guys get a chance to do this for us. I had a fairly easy question and then another question that I probably just missed because I'm listening to you guys while I'm doing work. First one is with the tiers. Are we going to get to see what tier we're in when we're fighting, or is there any kind of visual or cue for us to know what tier we're fighting in when we join this weekend?
No, not for this weekend. Sadly, I'd love to have that, but no, we didn't have enough time to pull that one off, and we actually want to give it a little bit of more thought on how we want to break the tiers down. But if you have any questions on where you're standing, you can just ping us, and I'll make sure that the team sends you a number if you want to know where you're standing on the worldwide stage.
I definitely want to know where I'm standing. I would greatly appreciate that.
Word on the street, Z-Mackin, is you're doing okay. You're doing okay. Not the best,
right,
you're not the worst, but you're doing okay, dude.
I'm definitely not the best. I can guarantee that.
You're actually doing pretty good.
You're doing solid, man. You're a threat. You're a threat out there.
Where do you think you stand? I actually have the right number. I have the number right now. Are you top? Would you say you're top 10? You're top 15? Top 100?
Within the top 50, probably.
You are.
Okay.
You're even better than that, but you are. You're pretty solid, I'd say.
Sweet.
Your win rate. I'll tell you this. Your win rate is 54%, which is pretty solid.
Those are all first game losses, guys. All the losses are my first games of the day, I swear.
Okay.
My other question is, again, I probably just missed this because I didn't hear you guys when I was working. I know you talked about the white paper being delayed. Did you guys give a time frame on when we might expect to hear more news on that?
Yeah, so, I mean, we're feverishly kind of working through a bunch of stuff right now, as always, Z-Mackin. I think, we definitely want to get some of it out early next year. I think it's very hard for us to give a date and a timeline because we have so many different kind of, I don't want to say key discussions coming up around it. I think there's going to be a couple parts to it.
No specific dates, just like more info would, like a timeline for when we can expect another announcement. What at all?
What I think what we're gonna start to expose a little bit more of, with the exception of the token stuff, is to explain a little bit more of what ownership perks could look like really in the economy. I mean, you guys are gonna get this token, you guys are gonna get that token. There's ways that we've discussed how we do that to make it easier for you guys, to claim what makes more sense from a design capacity. There's a lot of, I want to say user experience design that we've considered, as well as the legal and security side of the question as well. I'd like to think that we're, at some of the forefront of that discussion. We definitely have, been given the impression with a lot of the groups that we've talked with that we're thinking about things ahead of schedule in terms of where a lot of other projects are at. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's the feedback we've received from a lot of these discussions. So probably early next year, end of first quarter is probably what I would expect. But we want to trickle out more details as we go. And guys, I know we're running up on time. I actually enjoyed the last half of this more. If we take one more question, and then I'll just finalize the announcement, because I want to make sure that you guys know that everyone that's in here is going to have basically till 10 a.m. to get this whitelist spot, this tier 1 whitelist spot. A link is going to be provided by my guy Slime. The password is Emperor in all caps. That link is going to be active. You got to get in there and fucking do it by 10 a.m. PST. So do like 1-2 more questions, and then we got to roll because we got to give you guys the opportunity to do that.
Yep, KG or P-Ray. Again, 2 guys been around the project for a long time. The floor is one of yours. You guys can rock it out. You asked at the same time.
Go ahead,
Actually,
KG.
Before you guys talk, I just want to say that you both were finalists for Employee of the Month. That will go up tomorrow. So congratulations.
Yeah, you guys are
But only one can
fucking
win.
awesome.
But we only have one slot on the portrait. Yeah, you guys are awesome. We only have one slot in the portrait. So I'm sorry, guys. One of you had to go.
Listen, P-Ray's been great, so I'm more than happy to give him my spot for this month. He's been here in the community, so yeah, I'm more than down for P-Ray to get that spot.
Awesome.
Okay, what's going on, guys? How we doing?
Doing okay, man.
Good.
Just one quick question from me. There's been quite a bit of noise in some of the channels around it lately, and it's mainly around the game feedback channel. So I know there's a lot of passionate members in this community. I know you guys know that. Hope you appreciate it because there's a lot of us putting a lot of time in, but that game feedback, there's tons in there. Just any sort of acknowledgement of what we're posting in there. I know it's probably a lot of time for you guys, but if we could have more of a platform for players' feedback to be heard, I think that'd be really appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, we go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say it. Yeah, you go ahead, Icetoad. I was just gonna say we see it. We do see it, dude.
Yeah.
And we do factor it in our decision making. But I'll let Icetoad get a little more details.
I'll definitely give you guys a little bit of the inside baseball. We actually have our awesome community team. They are pretty much, especially on days that we are open, collating all the feedback and particularly finding things that are I don't want to use the word popular, but like more visible. Like this is definitely something that's currently being taught by the community. They share that feedback with us, and we categorize it internally. As I said, we're usually very aligned with you guys, and what usually needs to happen after we get your guys' feedback is that needs to get prioritized on the more boring aspect of the development cycle. Like, okay, what do we have coming in the future? Like, we're not just waiting for features to pop up. We're actively developing features like the MMR stuff, for example. And so whenever feedback comes in, we need to weigh it versus what we're currently developing and other feedback that we also have. And that's a process that, although we really like to work fast, it sometimes just takes a little bit longer than we would all like to happen. But we're definitely hearing you guys' feedback. And please keep the channel popping and keep the channel alive because it is getting to us.
And the last thing I'll say, and then I have to literally go after this next question because I have to get on with the CEO of the company. But one other thing I'll say is you guys are great. You guys give great feedback. A lot of the stuff that you say in there that is like forward-looking stuff, it's stuff that we already have planned also. So a lot of the things that you guys are hoping and thinking and feel like it fits right, again, very good ideas. We like to pull those challenges. Like there's things we can't necessarily introduce until we get the core combat systems on. But I even saw in there once some of the feedback is like, hey, like what about like in game, like in arena hazards and things like that. Well, dude, of course we're gonna fucking put that in, dude. That shit's gonna be badass when these motherfuckers are trying to run away from you and they run into a spike wall. That's definitely shit that we're gonna be. That's on the to-do list. It's just a little bit further out because we got to lock the core experience first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sounds fucking awesome, guys. Appreciate it. Now, before you go, you've got to tell me where I stand in the world, please.
All right, again, same question.
It's gotta be. I gotta take the opportunity.
Where do you think you stand?
Well, on High Warden, hoping
I know.
top.
I played Doodoo against you.
You
Remember
did.
that epic match,
Yeah,
KG?
and I forgot to
Yeah.
record my own audio. Shit.
I know. I know.
I'm gonna say top 15.
Yeah, you are top 15, dude.
Okay.
Try again.
Try again. Top 10.
You are
Oh.
top 10.
Awesome.
Oh.
Love it. Love to see it.
Your win rate is is broken. I think you have a 77.48% win rate,
Holy
which
shit!
is
Stay away
crazy.
from
Dude.
fucking KG, dude.
Yeah, which is that's
You're
crazy.
not going to be in the new player training grounds. I mean, that we can
For
confirm.
sure, exactly.
You're going to fucking be out of that.
Expect waiting for at least 30 more seconds for a match. That's all I'm gonna say, dude.
Yeah, you've won enough. I've literally have 1 minute. Fucking P-Ray, ask your fucking question. Let's go, dude.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, okay, I'll do it quick. Do you have an update for us on the L2 solution?
Very soon. So I know what it is. Look, we have one. We know what we're doing. We have some partner protocols that we have to kind of figure out. Again, these are, when we make these announcements, they're going to be kind of significant announcements. So apologize for the delay. I knew this was going to come up. I'd love to be able to tell you. You guys probably have guessed in some capacity some of what it may be. It's a good one. Can't say any more than that right now, but that will be revealed shortly as well.
Perfect, thank you.
With that being said, guys, I'm going to let Squiddy and Icetoad close out, but I'm going to leave you with this statement. Again, everybody on this town hall gets a tier 1 whitelist spot. You have till 10 a.m. My guy Slime is going to send out the link. Fill it out. All caps is the password Emperor in all caps. Man, also shout out to whatever fucking whale just floated in and bought up a bunch of expensive primes. He just pumped all your guys' bags again for right now. So you can give that guy a little love as well. Seems like a real swell dude to have in the community. So excited to see that floor price continue to trail up. It's a testament to, you know, what we've been doing as a community collectively. A lot of projects start launching their actual gameplay, and you see the opposite effect. You know, in most cases, you see projects that start to reveal what they're doing, even projects that are further along in development than us. Once they start to reveal, their floor price typically goes down. We've seen the exact opposite, and that's a special feeling. You know, that's something that should make you guys feel really good. Even though we haven't really screamed from the rooftops who we are yet to the rest of the world, fuck that. We don't need to. You know, we've got enough going right now with you guys. We're gonna get there. This is a long hold, as they say. You know, this is one of those things, like, some shit's worth waiting for. That's what we believe. You know, if you guys can't wait for it, you know, we loved having you. But as you see, like, we're building a real product, a really special product. Hope you guys have a great holiday. Hope you guys have a great time in Messina. And we'll see you guys real soon. Get pumped for that Elemental Mint. It's gonna be fucking awesome. All right, guys. I'll be in touch.
Appreciate
Thanks
you,
again.
Johnny.
Let's
Hi,
go,
Johnny.
baby. Johnny the Emperor.
Brothers, see you.
Okay.
Oh, yes, Icetoad. Oh,
I'll take one more.
Icetoad.
I'll take one more question.
All right, we've
before I
got
go.
Zest coming up as well. I know Zest has been waiting. Yeah, but like, dude, I'm pumped, man. I don't know about you, but I'm pumped.
Yeah, man. I mean, I only have one disclaimer. Remember, Johnny said that he has like two hats, right? The fun one and the one that has to do with all the economy building, economic. I'm the fun hat. So
Yeah.
fun. So I probably won't be able to answer all the questions. Yeah.
You know, so it's great. Zest, another day one, my friend. What's up? You got a question for Icetoad? Zesty.
No one's gonna ask a question. When are you guys gonna come fight in the arena again? I want to see y'all in the arena. Icetoad, Johnny left.
In the arena, are you playing on? I don't know if you guys noticed, but we opened. We actually sort of like joined US East and US West servers because before we had them split. Are you playing on West or are you playing on East? Because maybe that's why we hadn't faced each other. I'm trying to play like every day.
I play on East and West, but I can only ever play in the afternoons except for Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's one day I don't remember. There's one day where I think Fridays I have like a big meeting during the morning session, so I can never play on Fridays on the morning session. But I'm there. I'm playing, having fun.
We'll see you in the arena then.
I'll see you in the arena, dude. Sesti,
you,
you're up.
Justin.
I have a question, Squiddy. How many whitelist spots have you given to already to members of other communities?
The members of other communities or like specific gamers?
Yeah, I mean overall gamers and NFTs. NFT. How many whitelist spots have you already distributed?
Well, there's different allotments for different people in different groups. And I'd say I'm about 80% when it comes to my allotments too. So you're going to be seeing over the next month, some announcements with some guilds and some partners of just, getting this gaming groups, gaming guilds, gaming, creators too, just, everything with the intention of getting new players into the game. So it's, I don't have the exact numbers, but it's feeling good. It's feeling very good based on where we're at. I know just in person, right? In terms of just like DMs on Twitter, right? I have a list of 150 names, 150 people who I've personally like interacted with and say, hey, they're excited to come in and try Champions once they get their elemental, right? Or once they kind of get in, because again, these are conversations that were even happening before with the invite a friend too. So I would I'd expect to see some different ways and ways to kind of like give out these additional spots now that we have the invite a friend feature. All right, guys, you guys want an allow list for an awesome mint? Come check it out. Download the game. We've got a code. You can come on in and come check it out. Come find Icetoad in the arena, right? Or come do a battle, right? So additional ways to get people to come in and actually play the game, which we now have that feature available. Again, allows too. It's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think Johny mentioned this, but the project allocations and the tier information will be posted officially soon. So you'll have details on that.
No, because my point is that, of course, we are disappointed to have only one elemental per wallet. But if you are sure that all the spots are distributed to people who will really play the game and not dump the elemental
100%.
immediately,
Yes.
it will be okay.
We're super. Yeah. That's why like different people have had different allocation, and we're not doing like a shotgun approach to the invites. It's being super well curated because we feel exactly the same way. We want everyone that gets a hold of this elemental eternal to be an actual gamer that comes in and plays, or to be a partner that will give us visibility or help the project grow in some way or another. And it's not going to be random, which is why there's why Johny's like directly involved and leading the charge on this.
We've learned a lot since the first go around. That I can say with 100% confidence. Right, so it's very carefully meticulated, and it's something
we want to see those elementals in game for sure.
And again, there's ways. Everyone else, there's going to be tons of ways to get involved in the Discord. We want to get these into the hands, more in the hands of the primes too. So many different ways to get more tier ones in the Discord, right? Go right, the alpha. Become best friends with Captain Chris and Ethernaut. Wink, wink. Yeah, that's it. Oh, we got. Let's get Lajif up here too. Like someone else who's got to be in the top 10 of battlers.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Wonderfully.
Hey, Lajif, you're not top 10, but you're top 20. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, sweet. Thanks. That's all I wanted to know.
I know. I saw your comment. You do have a crazy good win rate. You're like at 67%. That's crazy. But as you guys might be figuring out right now, like the top echelon, like the top 25, they're super skilled players, which is why we sorely needed, or why we really want to activate this MMR system this upcoming week, because there's definitely a very big skill gap currently, and we do want people that are that are interested in learning how to play the game to get the chance to actually learn it. It's quite hard to get the chance to learn it if you're playing against KG or Blitz or Arkham or some of the top folks.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for that because I want to play people who are better than me or like on my level too. So
yeah, there's not many,
but
there's not many better than you, but there are. Yeah, there's a list.
I play around with the champions too, so a lot of that is just testing and messing around with friends. Yeah, I was playing random a shitload the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's cool. I really like the fact that we have random and as expected, as how at least I expected it to go. Most of the people in the top 20 are playing random, are using random as their, like, they're not just sticking to one character. There's a couple
really
of
like the AOS.
Yeah, there's a couple of assholes that are sticking to the same. I love AOS. I personally love AOS too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the fantasy of the AOS, like the spellcaster. I really like it.
Awesome.
Okay,
Well,
awesome. Thank you.
I think
No problem.
I think this is the end of the town hall, Icetoad. What do you think? This was awesome, man. This was really, really great. And yeah, I'm just I'm excited, man. Any final words to the people of Messina, to the players as we gear up for another week of testing? How do you want to leave us here?
No, I mean, I love being part of this. It was a long time since we had done one of this. I know that, as Johny said, like the first half was a lot more informative, but it's something that just had to be done. I just before we go want to really reiterate that your guys' feedback is helping us make very important decisions on one hand. So please don't feel like it's not being taken into account, or don't feel discouraged if you don't see it being acted upon immediately. It is really getting to the dev team and being taken into account. And just as importantly, we have your data. We're looking at how you guys are playing. We're looking at all the good numbers that give us a hint on what needs to be balanced and what needs to be addressed, etc. And so every time that you guys log on and put hours and minutes and effort into the game, it's literally feeding us information that makes the game better. So I'm really thankful and I'm really grateful to see everyone logging on every week for those few hours where we're hanging out and having fun. A little bit of alpha before I leave. I expect those to expand, hopefully soon. Not before the end of the year, but hopefully sometime January we'll be able to expand some of those hours. Yeah, I guess that's my way of saying thank you and happy holidays. Hope everyone has a great time, gets a lot of presents, and see you in the arena.